Hello, everybody. Tyrone the Guy 3 here, and Natalie is here with me.
Hello.
And we have finished every arc in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Original series. We finished the movie. Well, the first one, at least. We finished the first one, which means all that's left to do now is review the second movie in the Duel Monster series, a movie that came much later in the real life world, not in the timeline that it's taking place in, but it took place much later. And this movie is known as Yu-Gi-Oh! The Darkside of Dimensions. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this movie was also to celebrate the anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh!, correct?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years. Oh, God, I'm old. That's right, I'm old. Oh, so I was 6 when Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually started. And how old are you again?
23.
Yeah, so you were 23 when it... Jesus! So Natalie's 43 years old. No, you're saying you were 3 when Yu-Gi-Oh! Started.
Oh, yeah. I think, like, for the 20th anniversary, I think they might be counting from, like, when the manga started. The anime isn't, like, that old.
Yeah, I would say the anime probably didn't start then. Or maybe we're just old. Regardless.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I would say regardless, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimension. Now, before I get into this one, let me ask, what were your thoughts when you found out that a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie was coming out based around the original series?
I was so excited.
Yeah, I can tell.
You know, like, I'm always, I get, like, I don't know what the word, like, disappointed with Pokemon. Because they never bring, well, I shouldn't say never. If you like Kanto, you're golden. But, you know, usually there's never, like, an all-cast, like, homage sort of thing, usually. So I was really excited for this movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was really impressed. It raised some eyebrows with me. I was just like, whoa, this is Yugi? And I believe the one trailer that really caught my attention, too, was, it was one where Yugi is heading out, and his grandpa's like, aren't you supposed to be walking with Taya? And he's like, we don't do that anymore. And Taya came in, and she, let's just say she's grown. Quite a bit. And I just, when they were walking and Joey was headed to school and Tristan and the other, I just had this feeling like it just was like a welcome back. It was just a really big welcome back. Nothing felt out of place. It felt like the writer just went back to where he ended. Like he just continued from where he ended. And writers. And yeah, I liked it. So yeah, that was my introduction to it, and I gotta say it was really exciting. So with that being said, it's time to get into the meat of the series, the movie. And the movie basically begins with from what I remember, it begins with Yugi and the others headed off to school. And when they head off to school, they end up meeting a student at the school, and his name is Aigami. Right?
Yeah.
And it's weird because they remember Aigami, but at the same time, they don't remember him. And I thought it was just bad writing. I thought it was just, they needed to write a villain into the thing real fast. And the characters were like, oh yeah, Aigami, he always existed. Like, I felt like this would have been a good time, and I know this is going to sound super weird for those who didn't watch Season 0. I wish that Miho had been the villain. Like, you all forgotten me, but I'm back.
Oh my god.
And it's like, well, I wiped myself from your memories. But no, let's get into Aigami. What did you think of Aigami when you first got introduced to him?
I mean, yeah, it is kind of a weird introduction because they're not subtle about it. They're like, man, it's like I know him, but I don't know him. Like, what?
He's sitting by the window, which means he's obviously important.
Special.
He's obviously. He's got crazy anime hair. He sort of looks like Yusei to me from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Yeah, he kind of does. That's what I watch this movie with friends, and they're not really big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, but that's one of my friends thought. They're like, oh, isn't that the guy from a later thing? I'm like, no, this was a completely different character.
Isn't that the dude from the motorcycle ones?
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean,
Aigami's interesting too, because like they kind of repeat the whole thing of like, oh, he's bullied, and I'm like, I feel like I see the same stuff like 10 times in Yugioh.
Oh my god, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
messed up that he does get bullied, but obviously Joey shows up in time and stops and backs the bullies off, and I thought that was a nice, nice touch considering how he was a bully at one point.
Right.
So it's a nice callback. I believe also what happens, Yugi just sort of reminisces over the fact that the Pharaoh is gone. We get some card art changes too, by the way. A lot of cards have updated changes to them to make them vastly different than their original looks. Real fast, what did you think of the artwork of some of these new updated cards?
I liked it because I noticed like the initial duel with Kaiba and Yugi, that the Dark Magician isn't his usual purple.
Yeah.
So
he's rocking like this cool new outfit, and
yeah,
it's pretty cool. So during that time though, Aigami ends up befriending Yugi's group of friends, and this is where we get them hanging out at the mall. And honestly, I gotta say, this is one we're gonna take a lot of time here to gush over the characters. Between you and me, I know we are. The area that they're in looks amazing. The characters look so good here. Like Yugi, Tristan, Joey, Taya, Duke, all of them, and Bakura's there. Hi, Bakura.
Yeah.
And he even has his fangirls from the episode where he debuted.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got his like fangirls and I want to say, what did you feel about how they all interacted with each other?
I thought it was really natural and it was really good. Like, and especially because, like you said, you know, like with like Duke and Bakura, so usually characters that kind of got sidelined in the anime or like forgotten about. It was nice to see them roped in and really actually feel like a part of the group. So.
Yeah, what did you feel of Duke's new design?
I still like his old one because it's like edgier, but I can dig a guy in a pink apron who gives me ice cream. So,
so I'm guessing sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and his sleeves are cool.
Yeah, they added a lot of bells and whistles to this Duke.
Yeah.
Taya's hair is slightly different. I think she has 2 hairstyles in this movie to adjust to what's going on at the time.
Yeah, she has like the ponytail and the part.
Yeah, she's got a ponytail in one part and then just her regular standard look. Yuki's got this cool little like dress / sweater outfit on.
Yeah,
it's cool to see. It's always cool to see Yugi in different clothing. He wears like 3 clothes in this one.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and they like that one black. I like his black button-up shirt outfit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
He looks good in black.
Yeah, he does. And then I know Joey is wearing a dog outfit again. I'm guessing that's a callback to the whole. Yeah, like I know he's working for the ice cream shop, but it's also a callback to what's going on. And I believe there's also another outfit. I like to call this the Joey reference outfit. It's like
because it's like a combo.
Yeah, it's a combo between his Battle City and his Duelist Kingdom stuff. He's wearing like his Battle City t-shirt, but he's wearing his Duelist Kingdom green jacket. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think Tristan's just wearing his black outfit from Battle City.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And then Taya I can't keep track of all the outfits she wears. She wears a lot. I guess because girl, but yeah. Right. Bakura looks more or less... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, she's the character, like, design-wise, comparing to the old anime, that I feel like she looks the most different.
Yeah. Because girl. Girls accessorize. Or at least that's what they're trying to say. Natalie, you're the girl. I can't speak for you.
No, I mean, me personally, not really, but...
But yeah, I guess they did that one because girl. And then Bakura's outfit, I think he has the school uniform, and then I think they give him like a reference to the outfit that he wore in I want to say Duelist Kingdom or no, Battle City. Minus the jacket, right?
Yeah, he does wear. Yeah, he wears like a striped shirt and a black shirt underneath it. But then he also gets some plaid.
Oh yeah, he does get the plaid. Yeah. Oh, so while this is all happening, Aigami ends up teleporting to Egypt because Kaiba. Oh boy, Kaiba had just got done dueling a holographic version of Yugi. First of all, and I know we talked about it earlier, what do you think of the duel between Kaiba and the simulated Yugi?
I really like the setting of it and like the
Yeah.
build up
Aren't they in
because
like a
it's pretty.
cathedral or something?
Yeah, there's stained glass and shit. It's so
Yeah, it
cool.
is. Oh, this duel is basically to show off the visual enhancements of Yu-Gi-Oh! And
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta say, it is gorgeous. The CGI
yeah.
is a lot, but it's not distracting.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed that too because, like, of course, the characters like they're moving around a lot more, like as they're pulling cards and stuff, which you would
Yeah.
think it looks ridiculous, but it really makes the duels easier to watch
And
because
let's
I'm used
face
to
it,
watching the show. Yeah,
let's face it, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Come on now.
yeah, right. But it's nice to not have a shot of just a close up of a character's eyes panning for 6 seconds. You
Yeah.
know, like there's actually motion. So
You're about to go down. You can you back the camera, please. I think it's like right in my face. Oh, but I do like this duel. I like the way visually it looks. I like how I like Yugi's portrayal, even though this is a fake Yugi. This is a Yugi based specifically off of Kaiba's memories, projected hologram formed by his new innovative dual disc. It is a dual disc that is a hologram at the same time. So I guess they're sort of dabbling into the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrain slash Arc V stuff without, while still trying to keep modern. And also, I gotta say, I love Eric Stewart so much in this whole scene. I'm guessing also they don't have to deal with censorship real anymore in this movie, so we get a lot. And I gotta say, I love it. Like, Kaiba gets upset that even though he's able to beat Yugi, it was only a simulation, which means he'll never get the feeling of beating the real Yugi. This guy crushes a water bottle, throws it, and is like, fire the guy who made that bottle. Kaiba Corp technology shouldn't been that easy. I love it. It's my favorite line, and it's my second favorite. I'm sorry, it's my second favorite line in the movie. I'll tell you my first. Kaiba, what do you think of Kaiba? Because this is like mostly revolving around him at this point.
it is a very good middle of the road. I think the dub is really good in that, where it's still funny. Like it, would you say like it kind of makes fun of itself because it's not taking itself too seriously, but it's still really good. It's entertaining to watch.
Isn't there a line where Kaiba is like, I simulated everything. His dual disc, his dueling style, his deck, his perfectly coiffed hair. That was the hardest thing to program.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? What is this dub? I love it.
It's so funny.
I love it. I remember also during this movie really caters to Kaiba a lot, but it does it in a way that doesn't feel uncomfortable, like when we discussed in duels where he was forced into.
Right.
Yeah, like this is a very comfortable way to show off Kaiba because he believes in the Pharaoh now, which is good, but he doesn't believe, like, he still believes he's the shit, and he's very egotistical, which makes him the perfect rival for Yugi still. So I do like that. And then Kaiba heads down to Egypt in order to gather the Millennium Puzzle pieces so that he can revive the Pharaoh. Obviously, this is where we end up meeting Agami again, only this time he's gone under the alias of his true name, Diva. And Diva is now challenging Kaiba to a dimension duel for the Millennium Puzzle. What did you think of Diva and the whole dimension dueling aspect, the new concept that was added to this movie specifically?
Like, my brain didn't really notice too much of a difference. Isn't they have like, what is it, like spirit?
So in dimension dueling, the duelists are allowed to summon monsters without tributing, and they can increase the monster's attack points equal to the attack points that they have up to. So for example, let's say Kaiba summons Blue Eyes White Dragon. He can increase Blue Eyes White Dragon's attack points at will, but he can only increase it all the way up to 3,000. So let's say Kaiba only wants to increase his Blue Eyes by 1,500 attack points. It can be at 4,500 attack points, but if Kaiba ever wanted to, he can increase it again so it has 6,000 attack points, but he can't increase it any higher than 6,000 since that's the original attack points that Blue Eyes had at the beginning.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's crazy, and a lot of cards get thrown out really fast because of it. Because they're just able to summon monsters now. They don't really have a limit. If they want to, they can just summon at will, and it's chaotic. It's chaos incarnate. And at some point, I believe Kaiba even digs into his willpower and is able to summon Obelisk the Tormentor, even though he doesn't have that card in his deck. So what did you think of that craziness?
That's what, like I said, like my mind kind of skated all through it because I'm just like, oh, a duel. Like I don't even think I realized all the new rules. I was just like, okay, monsters fighting.
I believe that dimension dueling was only placed here to speed things up. Yeah. And that being said, it's to speed things up because of two weird reasons. Well, one, it's a movie. That's not really weird. And I think they wanted to just make this more than just like one giant duel. They're probably learning from the mistakes of the Pyramid of Light movie. Where in the Pyramid of Light movie, it was nice and all, but it was really just one big duel.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, there's multiple duels. They just go at a more rapid pace because of the new rules, the dimension dueling rules. And the other thing is that they've increased their life points to the standard for TCG games.
Yeah.
Your life points are 8,000 now instead of 4,000.
Yeah.
So,
which is weird.
they increased the life points only to shorten the duels.
So you're going like 4 times speed because you got to get through 8,000 points.
Well, I guess too also is that like they're probably power scaling because the TCG at that point we're talking like what? We're talking a large gap between I don't know, Battle City. I'll say that was Yu-Gi-Oh's hype. Battle City all the way up to now, almost like what 10 years has passed since then. And Real World. So the trading card game has gotten a lot, and they still got to promote this card game. So they need some monsters that are powerful enough to meet the standard for tournament play.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, and that's why you've got, like, Chaos Max Dragon and all these monsters who have absurdly higher attack points than monsters that were used in the original series because they gotta level the playing field. So I guess it's a level of balance. So is there anything else you wanted to add on Kaiba's duel? Because it doesn't end in anyone winning or losing. It just sort of ends in a draw once the Millennium Puzzle's analysis is complete.
Yeah. No, I don't think I have anything else.
And I know Diva ends up stealing 2 pieces to the Millennium Puzzle. So that Kaiba is unable to finish it. I also believe here that Mokuba freaking is actually useful. He doesn't get kidnapped. He headbutts Diva in the stomach to get him off. I'm like, shit, Mokuba's useful. Yeah.
And he's so fancy looking now.
Mokuba got a new design. He's got a haircut, a new tux. Well, what do you think of Mokuba? We'll talk about him because he had some nice little moments in this movie.
Yeah. I think it's a good movie because he gets to be a little bit more of his own character. Like, he's obviously still just kind of like following Kaiba around and wants to help him, but it's more like, like he's taking on responsibility and he's doing stuff. So
I feel like he's less for him. I feel like he's less bratty too. Yeah, I feel like he's a little bit more in control of things now. Like this, he's sipping a little bit of season 0 Mokuba into him. I like it. Like not the evilness, but like the cunning. I like it.
Yeah.
So I like his whole standoff against Diva when he's interrogating him and stuff. Like I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Great use of Mokuba development. If you're gonna shove everybody in this movie, then you got to give them their moments, and that was a good one. I believe after this, Kaiba is working on building the Millennium Puzzle. Yugi took 8 years in order to fix the Millennium Puzzle, but Kaiba is like, that's because he was a stupid ass kid.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Kaiba. I'll solve it in 5 hours. Yeah, so his machine is like building it, and the machine's like, it'll take 5 hours, and it's like, I freaking know that, you stupid machine. I built you, dummy.
Yeah.
It's to me where I have the weird feeling that Kaiba's machines are smarter than him.
Well, yeah, because the machine's like, oh, but you programmed me to, like, tell you how great you are or something. I'm like, oh, my God.
Of course I did. Of course I did.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, God. Set the Kaiba ego meter to max. Sir, it won't go any higher. Then build a bigger max button and fire the guy who made the first max button.
Oh my god.
I love Kaiba in this movie. I'm sorry. They actually made him pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He's a dick, but he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but moving forward, I believe at this point, Agami and Yugi are talking, and they have a little fun. Like they hang out some more. They go bowling. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I like this interaction. Like Agami doesn't feel unnatural. Like I feel like if he isn't the villain, he could have befriended everybody. But it's here where we learn a little bit more about Agami too. So, Agami agrees that he wants to duel against Yugi for funsies, and Joey wants to do it too. And oddly, Tristan and Taya want to duel too. But they're having a casual tournament, right? Well, they're planning on having a casual tournament. But obviously, when Yugi gets home to set his cards up, he ends up getting talked to by Diva's sister, Sarah. And Diva's sister Sarah takes a piece of the Millennium Puzzle and gives it to Yugi because she fears that Diva has been contaminated. He's starting to slip into the darkness. What did you think of this scene?
What did you think first? Because I want to see if you
sure.
have a similar idea.
I like the inclusion of Yugi into this plot, even though he is no longer the Pharaoh. He no longer has the Pharaoh spirit into him. Still gives him relevance.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Okay. I like it. Like, I like the whole thing, but I was like, I feel like I've seen this sort of plot before.
So, okay, then what's it making you think of?
It's like Battle City.
Yeah, it
Like
is
the
Battle
whole,
City.
Like his sister working behind him to like be like, Yugi, you have to help us. And I'm like, I've already seen this.
Yeah.
But no, I really do like it. Yeah.
It is a lot. It is very repetitive, but it's a Yu-Gi-Oh movie.
Yeah.
I think there's only so much it can do to try its own identity. At this point, though, we learn a little bit more. We learn that when Agami, Joey, and Bakura, weird group to just sort of walk. When they are traveling, at this point, Agami does his plan to take over, Yugi's friends, to get at him, and step one of that is to banish Joey and Bakura. Now, Joey, he sends Joey to the dimension where he sent everybody else who disappeared. That includes the bullies from earlier. That's how Kaiba was able to pick up what was going on, is because he noticed that the bullies had been taken out, and it was all over the news as well, too. So, but as far as Joey, he gets teleported to an area that basically is comprised of his memories. As his memories slowly fade, he'll slowly fade into nothingness. So Joey's just winding up in that dimension. But with Bakura, we learn a lot of backstory, though. We learn Bakura's father was headed to Egypt, and that's where he found the Millennium items. And he was offered to pay bucks in order to get that Millennium ring. So he ends up talking to Shadi, who is involved in this movie too. What did you think of Shadi's return?
I was very confused, because is it actually Shadi, or is this like another dimension Shadi?
I'm confused too, because so I guess we can break down a lot of backstory here. So Shadi apparently used to study in the way of the Plana, a group of ancient Egyptian mystics who have the power to make or break reality based on whether or not the pharaoh is alive, in order to seal them, or his spirit has gone off into the afterlife, in order to enhance their powers. So long as the pharaoh exists within our plane, then the Plana can't use their powers at all for real to their potential. However, if the pharaoh if his spirit is no longer with us anymore, if it's finally lifted, then the Plana's powers can rise. Now, if the Planas are basically supposed to be balanced, incarnate. They can't be too good, they can't be too evil. If a drop of fear goes into the Plana, then it can erupt evil, and that evil can spread throughout the entire world and send the entire world to a different dimension. Hence the Darkside of Dimensions, title. Knowing that, I'm guessing Shadi was able to not only have the Millennium Key, but also have the, I'm gonna call it the Millennium Cube for now, because they don't really give it a name. They just call it the power of the Plana.
Yeah.
This cube allows him to use the powers of the Plana and summon old spirits from the Plana's clan in order to cause current spirits to disappear. What do you think of this very hefty lore that's shoved into this movie?
That's, I mean, how you say it, like shoved in. Like it's cool that there's new ideas, but it's also frustrating. But it's like a pattern throughout Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like, okay, yeah, you've solved this problem, but actually there was this whole thing the entire time that you didn't know about, and it's like, this is just making it like, thinking back on the original series, I'm like, I'm so confused over, like, you know, especially when you tie a character directly to it, like Shoddy. Like, you didn't, you could have had just a totally different character, but now I'm lost.
Oh boy, there's a lot here. So, the thing about the Plana plot, it comes out of, like, almost nowhere. D5 is revealed to be evil. Diva is revealed to be evil, but he knows Joey, Kaiba, he knows everybody, and there's no introduction to it. I feel like this would have been better off just being an arc rather than a movie. You could have made it like a 5 or 10 episode arc that would have been able to cover a little bit, because with the movie, a lot of characters just know each other really quickly. Kaiba knows who Diva is immediately. Diva knows who Kaiba is. Diva knows Yugi. Diva knows everybody, and it's almost not explained as to why. I'm guessing because they needed to move the plot along, and this movie's about 2 hours long. So they had a lot to work with in 2 hours. So to pull this Plana plot this late in the game bugs me.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done the plot intertwined with the events that were happening. Like, every time Joey and Yugi and the others were hanging out with Aigami, he could have remembered something relevant to that, or to the backstory. It's not until he meets Bakura that all of it gets spilled, and it's just that's what bugs me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe I took it like the wrong way or a different way, but I always assumed, since this is like dimensions and stuff, like Aigami was never really in their dimension until they were like, oh, we think we know him, right? Like, I thought he like inserted himself.
Right, that's what I thought too, but the movie never really like hops on it. Like, does the movie ever even tackle that? Do you remember?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it does, but that's what I took away. So I hope that's what it's supposed to be.
So like, he created his own dimension within the dimension of our heroes. So it's like a layer. So at that point, you do have to ask yourself, maybe Shoddy is a different dimension Shoddy, because he is a ghost. So it's not too far-fetched to say that, you know, he wouldn't have an alternate him. Because, and that digs into what I saw when I first saw the trailer for this movie. I thought this movie took place in the regular series, but in a different dimension version of it. Like an alternate universe version of Yu-Gi-Oh, where, like, you know, everything still happens the same way it does, just a new plot happens. But it's the same timeline. It's the same canonical timeline. It's just they don't really follow through with, you know, certain plot ties, and I feel like they shoved a lot of plot points into the movie really quickly, which made it very chaotic. It's entertaining, I will say. It's entertaining.
It definitely is.
So if we move further with that, I believe what happens is when Bakura's father ends up taking the Millennium Ring, it doesn't choose him as its owner, so it just sort of kills him. But it does choose Bakura, young Bakura. And what did you... I'm sorry, I gotta ask this. What did you feel of hearing tiny Yami Bakura?
He's a little murderer.
I have no more use for you.
He's so funny to watch.
Seeing chibi Yami Bakura. It's hilarious.
And that's the thing, like, this movie, because the original writer for the manga, I think, wrote this movie, and you can tell there's like a lot of ties to the manga that didn't show up in the anime, like the main Duel Monster series. Because I don't think Bakura's father's ever in the main anime. Like he might be in season 0, and I think he's in the manga for like a couple panels and stuff like that. And like Duke's dad like pops up, so it's cool to see that there's more. This one's more directly tied to like the author's original ideas.
Yeah, there's so many cameos and callbacks in this movie that I really appreciate. So once we got that much backstory and we learned that Bakura was the one to kill off, everybody. The current Bakura feels bad because he knows that was the spirit of the Millennium Ring and it wasn't him. After that, though, we see that. After that, we see that he banishes Bakura's body away. He's gone. But
Rip Bakura for like the 17th time.
Right, and I believe what ends up happening is that one of Agami's friends, one of his, like, I guess you could say it was like his brother, his adoptive brother.
Yeah.
He ends up he ends up getting the Millennium Ring and ends up getting possessed by its dark powers. So then that ends up showing off, and it only happens briefly, but when that happens, I believe Yugi and the others learn that Joey's missing, and they set off to go find Joey. I believe Tristan uses his motorcycle, which I always like seeing Tristan in the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gives him a level of usefulness because, again, Tristan is a non-duelist, so it's cool to see him actually doing stuff, though, that contributes.
He's just their Lyft driver.
Yeah. Come on, Yugi, I'm your Uber. So they end up finding Diva, and when they find Diva, Joey comes back because a Tim spirit called out to Joey right before he disappeared. What did you think of Joey's? I guess Joey didn't get to get a duel in this movie, but he does have some level of importance.
Yeah. That was like, it's maybe it sounds dumb, but I always like tear up at this movie like 3 times, and that's one of the scenes that gets me is when he sees him and then he comes back. So like I think it's really emotional and cool.
It is nice. It shows that Joey and the Pharaoh, while their bond isn't as strong as Yugi and the Tims, it's still there. They've dueled together. They've dueled against each other in Duelist Kingdom. Like they've had their moments.
Yeah.
So his connection with the Pharaoh is a solid one, a solid enough one to keep him around. And also, I guess I should comment that certain people can disintegrate when the power of the Plana is used, unless their will is too powerful, like Kaiba's, or Joey had a connection to his friends, which stopped him from disappearing. So that was pretty cool. After that, it's raining, by the way, and when that happens, Diva basically is like, yo, I want to get, I need to take over the world, and in order to do that, I'm gonna have to beat up Kaiba and you in a duel. So later, and Yugi's in the middle of the street.
Yeah, oh my god, this scene made me laugh.
I love how Kaiba's in the middle of the street too, but cars stop for Seto Kaiba.
Yes. Yeah, as soon as Kaiba leaves, then traffic just resumes and Yugi almost dies.
Right, I love how like the horns are beeping and he's like, and they're like, and then Kaiba's like, Yugi, it's been a while, and the cars just stop. Traffic stops.
Like, oh shit.
Traffic doesn't stop at red lights. Traffic stops for Kaiba, damn it.
Yeah.
I own all of your cars.
We were joking when we were watching it. I'm like, I bet they have like self-driving cars and they're programmed to stop whenever Kaiba
Right, like I programmed your cars to stop when I'm in the middle of the road because I am traffic.
God. Yes, exactly.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And then I so disrespectful. Kaiba leaves on a helicopter. Like you said, traffic just continues. There's no more. Yugi almost gets ran over. And I'm just like, Yugi's the king of games.
It's so funny. Yeah.
Right now, he's the king of getting in the way of me getting to work.
Yeah.
And he almost gets ran over, and it's all Sarah's fault. She's just like, Pharaoh. And he's like, Jesus, I was in the middle of the street. Oh, but thankfully Sarah teleports Yugi to the curb where they should have talked.
Oh my god.
And so Yugi has the other Millennium Puzzle piece, so he's necessary in order to do this. Kaiba, being grandiose as he is, he wants to show off the new Duel Disk in the most obscure way possible and get his hands on the Millennium Puzzle pieces. So he holds this 3-way tournament. 2 duelists will go in, duel each other, and then, try to duel each other for their Millennium Puzzle pieces respectively. This event is huge. It's like there's a giant stadium. We got Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon attacking the audience members, but they're holograms, and Joey's like, Kaiba owes me a new pair of pants.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wasn't that it? They had like a fake plane crash.
Yeah.
I'm like, Kaiba, what the fuck is wrong?
What did you think of this grandiose spectacle?
I mean, I don't feel like it had as much atmosphere as other tournaments because you're literally it's people literally just standing like a whole sea of people on the floor of a stadium. So it's not exactly amazing visually outside of the duels themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know Kaiba talks a lot of shit when this starts. Kaiba's like, this world was made out of mediocrity, and whoever designed this world would have been fired. And I'm like, Kaiba, let's just move away from the lightning.
Yeah.
Kaiba, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. He goes, I proved that I could build a better world, and you all have me to thank because I'm Seto flipping Kaiba.
Oh my god.
They even play his theme song in the English version.
Yeah, they do.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, though, we see that Aigami, a.k.a. Diva, shows up. He's got his Millennium Puzzle piece. Kaiba's got the Millennium Puzzle incomplete. And Yugi has his Millennium Puzzle piece. And Kaiba demands that he duels Diva first so he can get his first piece. And then he'll duel Yugi for the other piece. But Yugi says no. Yugi wants to duel Diva first so he can get his Millennium piece and free Bakura because you don't mess with Yugi's friends. And Kaiba's like, I'm supposed to duel him first. And Yugi's like, yeah, you can back the fuck off or I'll episode 1 your ass.
It's such a good scene. I love it.
Well, I was just going to ask, what do you think of Yugi stepping up to Kaiba?
So good.
This isn't Yama Yugi either.
Oh
this is little Yugi.
Little baby Yugi. It tells him to back off. I'm like, oh yes, this is what I've been waiting for.
It's like, he stole one of my friends, and if you know what's good for you, Kaiba, yo, back off. I'm just like, oh.
And the whole crowd would be like, oh.
Like I said, I'll episode 1 your ass.
Yes, yeah.
And
I love it.
Kaiba just rolls with it. He's like, all right, I'll grant you this favor. I'm like, Kaiba, you got bitched. Don't sit here and pretend you got punked. So that continues, and Diva duels Yugi, and Yugi Dimension duels Diva, and Yugi says he'll learn as he plays, and then proceeds to know all the rules of Dimension dueling without any without any rules being told to him, and beats Diva. And what did you think of that duel?
I mean, I'm just thinking of the new stuff and with all of Diva's monsters, and it's kind of the same thing that I feel I usually get from duels. Is it seems like an unwinnable situation, but then it turns around kind of quick.
Yeah,
so,
there were a lot of trap cards used in this one.
Yeah.
Last minute face down trap cards that Yugi kind of just pulls out. Cards that I'd never seen him have, or, they're promoting the Darkside of Dimensions booster packs. Right. So that's probably why. So the deck he has now is I guess it's loosely based off of the cards that he would use with the Pharaoh, but they're enhanced versions.
Is this the duel where he has the magician girls too?
No, that's the next duel. You're thinking of the next one. And this one, I believe he ends up using Gaia the Dragon Lord or whatever.
Yeah.
And he traps Diva in a combo where he's got 3 trap cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's forced to stop his attack, repeat his attack, and take damage based on the difference between his Yugi's monster and the Cubix Emperor monster. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little combo. I like that this is little Yugi's time to shine here too. Without the Pharaoh, he's holding his own really well.
Right.
So yeah, I like that. I respect that level of growth from him. And then we immediately move on to the next duel, Yugi versus Kaiba, which feels a little tiring because we just got out of a duel, but we hop right back into one. So this duel was pretty cool too, though, because I like the Apple Magician and Lemon Magician situations. I think those were the ones you were thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaiba uses some pretty cool cards too. Blue Eyes Max Dragon, Defi's Blue Eyes. What did you think of the duel between Yugi and Kaiba?
Yeah, it's good because like I would say someone who kept up with all the series versus someone like me. I like that they choose monsters that are middle of the road where it's like a new version of Blue Eyes, but I still understand like, oh hey, that's Blue Eyes, so I'm not like completely out of the water when it comes to what are these monsters.
Right.
So, yeah. But I don't know, they all everything's just like watching the old show, but like times 10 in terms of like flashiness and coolness. So
I just remember there's this line where Yugi beats Blue Eyes Max Dragon and Kaiba's like, "You really hate dragons."
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's so funny.
Then he summons Gandora, the dragon of destruction.
And it's like, well, Kaiba, that's really all you have. So
right, I guess she has no choice. That and the wyverns. So I thought it was pretty cool. After that, the duel doesn't conclude though, but it is a good duel. Like it does show off both characters very well. We get Yugi versus Kaiba again, but it's not annoying because it happens so quickly. And then we move on to the next one where Diva is defeated, but all isn't lost. Diva fused his Plana powers with the Millennium Ring. And the Millennium Ring, even without Bakura, still has essence of evil in it. So because that evil tangles up with the Plana powers, it creates this like I don't know what it is. It's like a weird Plana cubic demon monster.
Yeah.
It's
this is another
boss.
thing, like, yeah. But it's another thing, like how we were talking with Shoddy, and it's like, so if there's still some evil in the ring, I'm like, is this like partially Zork? I mean,
it could be. They never outright.
I can't tell.
They never outright say it, and I know also we got a little backstory before Yugi defeated Diva, where we get to see he was as a kid, Aigami and his adopted siblings were slaves at first, forced to make money. But then Shoddy was able to free them, take them under his wing, teach them the ways of the Plana. And at that point, that's why he has such a connection with Shoddy and wants revenge. But the revenge becomes fear becomes aggression becomes evil. And we get our whole conclusion. And he duels Yugi, and Yugi's about to get his butt kicked. Everybody's fading away because of the evil powers. Kaiba does a thing. I hate to skim over everything, but that's how fast everything went. And then Yugi still believes in the heart of the cards right before he loses. Because of this, he's able to draw one card before he passes out. But the Pharaoh Atem's powers end up going inside of the Millennium Puzzle. So we end up seeing Atem. Atem uses one card that Yugi just didn't have in his deck, which was like the, I guess the Pharaoh's Servant.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the Pharaoh's...
It's pretty much just Mahad.
Yeah, it's Mahad. Yeah. It's Mahad in dual monster form and not the Dark Magician. And when that happens, after that, it defeats the whole monster that was supposed to be invincible, destroys him, everything gets cured, the peace returns. I Aigami's spirit goes away with the rest of the Plana. They go off to their dimension. And I think at this point he doesn't really exist anymore, does he? Like, in their heads.
I don't think so. I don't think, because, yeah. Oh, no.
It's very open-ended how he leaves.
Right.
But at that point, and Kaiba, oh God, Kaiba somehow, don't ask, finds a way to travel back in time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I traveled, Yugi. I used my blue eyes white jet to travel 88 miles per hour, and now I can see you and duel you. Yugi's like, I don't have a duel disc or call. We're in Egypt.
How do you feel about that ending?
It's ridiculous, but you know what? They can have it. I'm not even mad at it. That's the sad part, is that I'm letting it go for 2 reasons. One, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh movie, and we've already explained in Pyramid of Light, there's some things we just gotta let go in movie form. 2, it's a 20th anniversary movie callback.
Mm-hmm.
If this is what Kaiba really wants, fine. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid beyond belief. But fine, he can have it. What did you think?
I think it's cool. Of course, you want to bring back the biggest faces for the series, but I feel like it does such a disservice to Kaiba because he never, he always has to reset his character growth. Because me personally, just okay, we ended the series, and he's like, no, yeah, I saw the Pharaoh go into death, but you know what? I'm not gonna take that. I'm gonna bring him back, and it's like, okay. And then Yugi has that whole talk with him, oh, he's not coming back. And Kaiba almost has a moment where he breaks through and he's like, oh shit, I gotta deal with death. And you're like, oh, cool, Kaiba's gonna get over it. He's gonna accept it. Nope, he's going back in fucking time because he's gonna go see the Pharaoh. So it's I don't know, it just...
Okay,
it's cool, I do want to see them, but the same conflict over and over because Kaiba just can't get over it.
I feel that if this series were still running under this, I would feel the exact same way. I agree with you 100%. Kaiba should just learn to let it go, and if anything, he should acknowledge Little Yugi as his rival because Little Yugi beat a Tim.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can beat Little Yugi, then by that logic, he should hold his own against the Pharaoh. I understand that the Pharaoh has beat him several times.
Right.
That's been established a lot, and Kaiba's whole character arc has been wanting to defeat Yugi. So I can definitely understand that it feels like a character regression when Kaiba is trying so hard to get at Yugi again, because he already accepted the way things were.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is an unreachable goal. But I guess that's how people handle death. Some people are in denial. Some people, Little Yugi accepted it. He's just upset. Kaiba is refusing to accept it.
Kaiba accepts nothing.
He's not dead. I swear he isn't.
Yeah.
So, it's just different ways of how people cope. And I guess Kaiba just couldn't shake the whole Yugi beating him situation. So he's doing everything he can, whereas then I feel like Kaiba should dedicate himself to just becoming a better duelist. Rather than to be fixated on Yugi. Well, that's him, I'm sorry. And then still try to defeat Yu-Gi-Moto and other characters that cross their path. But the only reason in a movie I let this go, this time traveling nonsense, is because one, it's towards the end of the movie. It's credit scenes of the movie. And so if anything, you don't have to watch that part. And 2, the reason I accept it is because I believe this is going to be the last we see of the main cast. Unless they make another anniversary movie. But they do talk about their future ambitions. Yugi wants to open a game shop. Tristan is apparently a mechanic.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Teo is going to go to school to, learn how to dance. Joey wants to become a top duelist. So they're all aspiring to do more things. That's why, if this is their send-off to them shooting towards their goals, then I'm not disturbed by Kaiba literally traveling time. Because what else is there for Kaiba to really do? Kaiba sort of owns the world at this point, or at least a good chunk of it.
Right.
So yeah, like, but I agree with you completely. On a character development scale, this hurts Kaiba's character development, but at the same time, and if we're talking movie, if we're looking at it through movie lenses, let him have it. Why not?
Yeah.
Let him believe. let him have it. Let's talk about the antagonist and the whole plot there, because it's very muddled. The plot? What are your thoughts on this?
Overall, like, it was a good idea, but as we touched on before, I think it could have been like interwoven a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because it's very much like, if you're gonna make a movie about multiple dimensions, it's just kind of difficult to understand where this is coming from and like how it all links up. So
I agree.
It's a lot of stuff and it's very sudden, so it's hard to pick apart.
Yeah, I agree. It's just this plot I feel would have been good if it had been foreshadowed, forementioned. Obviously it's a 20th anniversary movie, so they probably didn't think of all of this stuff at the time. They probably just wanted to show off some new cards and they needed a theme to go with it. But it's interesting. Like, if nothing else, it's very interesting. I like it. I like that it's not necessarily evil, but it's not good by any sense of the word either. I feel it was an injustice to shoehorn the Millennium Ring in there.
It is weird. That's the only thing that bothers me, is if you're gonna make a whole, like, okay, this is the plot, they do this, but you're like, oh, but the ring's still a little bit evil, and Atem is still a little bit in the puzzle. I'm like, well, why do we need like a separate organization then? It's just kind of weird.
Well, what did you think of Yami-Yugi's final play in it too? Because he doesn't say anything. He's just he just summons the card, wins, and then he's gone just as quickly as he came.
I love that a lot too, and like, I still cry at that scene. But I like that he doesn't talk, because, you know, it's just like Yugi gets to see him. And, I mean, I guess you could even argue, like, maybe he didn't even really come back, and this is just like a really intense vision.
Natalie, you nailed it. I was just about to say, what if it wasn't really a Tim? What if it was little Yugi just, like, conjuring up, like, some...
Yeah, because he was about to pass out.
Yeah, we're conjuring up some spirit of him. Like, even time itself can't separate them. But, like, it's not him. It's just Yugi's grown as a character. Because I will say, Darkside of the Dimensions gives little Yugi the best growth I've seen ever.
Yeah.
Like, his character grows a lot in this movie. This movie, if I want to reference little Yugi a lot, I usually just go to this movie, because it helps him a lot. It gives him much needed character development. But, you know, I like the idea, though, that maybe it wasn't really a Tim. It was just little Yugi mustering up the last of his spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Pharaoh's inside me the whole time. I just, you know, I just have to focus hard enough or bring him out. So, I like that idea. Yeah, I like that idea. I like that he doesn't talk. I like that's subtle. And it gives a layer of depth to his character. So, yeah, very well done.
Yeah,
let's see. Is there anything else for us to really talk about in terms of this movie?
I think that's mostly it.
Okay, so since this series only has technically has 3 if you count Season Zero's movie, but it has 2 movies. Between the 2, which one do you feel was a better movie?
Are you saying Pyramid of Light was not Oscar-worthy, amazing material?
Well, yeah, it was, and we as pathetic humans don't deserve to watch Pyramid of Light. Pyramid of Light graced us with part of its presence, 1 hour and 30 minutes of its presence. so that we can somewhat enjoy it and get our Blue Eyes Shining Dragon card. But let's just say we're judging it on that standard. Yeah, Darkside of the Dimensions is better. I'm sorry. Movie's way better. It's like night and day. It's not that Pyramid of Light is bad. It's just Darkside of the Dimensions blows it completely out of the water.
Yeah, the bar is very low going off Pyramid of Light being first.
That's true. So what exactly about this? Because I don't even know why I asked you that question. I should have just asked. Let me rephrase the question. What about Darkside of Dimensions makes it so much better than Pyramid of Light?
Well, the fact that it focuses on more characters. I mean, just between like Yugi alone, like actually getting character growth, and then really Joey, Bakura. And then, like Kaiba and even Mokuba's there a little, which sure, they're all in, well, I don't think Bakura is, but like Pyramid of Light, they're all in. But Pyramid of Light's like more like, I don't know, like claustrophobic, where it's pretty much in one of two settings.
Yeah.
Like you're in the pyramid or you're in the soul room, where this one, it's like it's all over town, and then you got another dimension, so it's just like on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more satisfying to watch.
I feel, now the dimension duels rushed by really quickly. And then the regular duels were going by at rapid pace as well in this movie. But I feel like it was done for the better because this movie, the writers knew exactly what this movie was about. It wasn't just about showing off it was a commercial to show off some new cards, obviously. But it knows that it's about the characters. We talked about this before when we talked about the... when we talked about the final arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where we did the review of the Dawn of the Duel stuff, the characters are what makes this series the best. And it focuses on them. Like, it doesn't hold back. It knows that its primary focus is on Kaiba, Yugi, Joey, Tristan, Taylor, Duke, Bakura, and then just let's add a new character because we need conflict.
Yeah.
And it knows it. It gives these characters there's much deserved character development. We got scenes from Bakura reliving his past. We got Joey running through the dimension, surviving because of the attempt. We've got Tristan and Taya desperately looking for Joey out once he's lost. We've got Yugi just growth out the wazoo.
Bitching out Kaiba.
Right, stepping up, becoming his own person. We've got Kaiba being the egotistical maniac that he always is. We got some great scenes from Mokuba. So, and even Duke Devlin and Grandpa make some cameo show-ups. This movie knows its cast and uses it effectively to the point where no character's time is wasted. And I do applaud it for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for in like a reunion movie.
Right. And it does it very well. And it's a callback movie, but it doesn't harpen on the fact that it's a callback. It doesn't go, oh, that's familiar. Remember this or remember this. It still tries to tell its own story, its own original story, albeit a chaotic one, but it's original. While at the same time still doing subtle callbacks, like Joey's like combo shirt.
Right.
Like, they didn't have to do that. They could have had Joey just wear something completely different, but they chose to do that as a subtle callback to the fans. So, yeah, I believe this movie's great. Would you recommend others watching it?
Yeah, I think it's even enjoyable if you're even not, like, super into Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like Pyramid of Light is harder to watch if you're not into Yu-Gi-Oh! But this one's pretty interesting.
I will say Pyramid of Light is specifically for a hardcore Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series fan. Like, if you were strictly into that series, you would watch Pyramid of Light. Darkside of Dimensions can be watched by almost anyone, although the fans, the longtime fans of the Duel Monster series will appreciate it the most. I feel like that's an accurate presumption because, while the duels are very chaotic and confusing in this one, it happens at such a rapid pace that you don't have to. It doesn't force you to be confused on them. Like, they break some rules, but it's dimension dueling, which barely had any rules anyway. So it doesn't harp it on that.
Can't break rules if there aren't any.
Right? Can't screw the rules if there are no rules. So yeah, but it doesn't. it doesn't rest on itself, because Pyramid of Light was one giant duel that was very like, if you played the card games, then you need to pay attention to everything that happened. Whereas this one is just sort of free roam, does whatever it wants, but it still has some structure to it. Yeah. So, did you have any other follow-ups, or was that it?
I guess a question.
Yeah.
What would you say if this wasn't the last movie? What if they make another?
Another movie in this particular canon?
Yeah, like with the same cast, like another Duel Monsters movie. How would you feel?
Ooh. It just depends on how they treat the characters. Like I said, this cast is this series' defining trait.
Yeah.
So it's all about how they treat the characters and if it's natural, and if Yugi himself can gain the development and not really rely on a Tim at all in any sense. No offense to him, he's a great character. It's just no. If they were to make another movie, it'd be they would have to take very careful steps to try to top this one, but I think they could do it. It's theoretically it's possible. Yeah. So
it's a 3-hour duel between Kaiba in ancient Egypt while he's visiting the pharaoh.
Okay, I won't watch that. No, I won't watch that. That's just going back to what we've already established. So, but what about you? If they were to make another movie, like a 30-year anniversary or something?
Yeah, I'd be down. I mean, there's still going to be recycled stuff, but that's the same thing, like, with how nostalgia is so profitable. Like, I will buy into it. I just want to see the characters.
Alright, yeah. It does, this movie does pander, but it doesn't pander so much to the point where it's annoying.
No.
No, so,
it's good.
Yeah, but with that said, we are coming very close to the end of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters March Marathon. The last thing we will discuss, we'll actually have another guest with us for that, but we'll be discussing the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. That includes GX, 5Ds. I've just been recently told that it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeal, not Zexal.
Yeah. I knew it was
that.
one or the other, but I want to say the X.
What's the X for? So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeal, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V or Arc 5, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so with that said, thank you, Natalie, for again joining me in another Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie discussion.
Woohoo.
And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And we're coming up to our last video of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters March Marathon. So, as the March is coming to a close, we're finishing it up. But obviously, that won't stop us from continuing to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a great series. This movie was great because of the great series. And with that said, we'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out. Oh, whoa. Also, wait. I forgot to mention. Yeah, Natalie, it's time to Drew. It's our Twitter. It's our Tumblr. Yeah, it's time to Drew. It's her Twitter, her Tumblr, her YouTube, her life. Go check those things out.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, go check those things out. Check out our content. Link will be in the description below. Again, take 2, Tyrone the God 3 out.